live. Let us make sure our phones are off. And yeah, let's maintain a little bit less movement. Thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the show.
welcome to this special edition of The Big Picture. Actually, an inaugural show whereby the big picture is on the road, whereby we will be discussing corruption, accountability, and public finance. And our first county to visit is Nakuru County, where we are currently broadcasting this particular session live from Nakuru County, county number 032. And Nakuru is one of Kenya's most important counties, a key agricultural, business, tourism, and also a transport hub that connects different parts of the country and even the region, that is East Africa region, where this is quite an important county. But when the 2010 constitution was voted in by the people, the hope was that development will be taken down to the mwananchi, close to them. But still, decades later, one question lingers: where is the money? And according to the Auditor General, since 2016 to 2024, through their reports and also other investigative bodies, this particular county has lost close to 1.1 billion. And the very reason we are here to interrogate where is the money going, where the citizens are losing, and what are some of the services they are missing. And I am not alone to drive this conversation. Together with me, as always, I have Justin Wanda. Justin, where are you and what are you up to?
Hi, William. My name is Justin Wanda. I am with the audience today. As you can look around me, there's a lot of young faces, very pumped up faces, and we are keen to hear what they'll say.
All right, I'm sure we'll be getting to the young faces and hearing from them and the people who have come to be part of this conversation. But apart from Justin, today we have a new face, but not really a new face when it comes to Africa Uncensored. We have Tracy Bonareri. Tracy Bonareri, what is it? What's happening from your corner?
Hi, everyone. Yes, my name is Tracy Bonareri. I work as a fact checker and reporter at Africa Uncensored. I'm looking forward to the conversations we'll have in this room. Hopefully very meaningful and powerful conversations that can inspire change in society. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so what will be happening in your corner? I mean, what are you up to? What will you be doing?
Like I said, I work as a fact checker, so I come with the facts.
So you'll be doing fact checking?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, but apart from Justin and also Tracy, we have the lovely people of Nakuru County. Jipigeni makofi. Thank you for making time and being part of this conversation. So, apart from the people of Nakuru, apart from Justine, and apart from Tracy, we also have a great panel because we want this conversation to be a mwananchi-oriented conversation. And joining me on this great panel, from my far left, we have Shiko Kehika, Executive Director, Tribeless Youth. Did I get it wrong? Yes.
My name is Angela Wameda Kioko, Executive Director, Ignite Kenya.
All right. Sorry, I didn't get that. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I owe you one, right? Nitakubeya soda. Mpigeni makofi. Simon, I'll kill you. No. All right. And also we do have next to her, we do have Laban Omusundi, who's an active petitioner and also an activist here in Nakuru County. Makofi kwake. And next to her, we have a young face, Sheila Kendi. She's a law student at Egerton University. And the last person in this particular panel, we have Mwangi Moraya from the Center for Enhancing Democracy and Good Governance. Makofi kwake. Thank you so much. Again, makofi kwenyu. All right, guys, let us start this conversation. Let's, from the start, this is a mwananchi conversation, right? We have seen what the leadership of Nakuru County is doing. We have heard from them. We have seen some of the developments, the miss and hits. But I want to start from you, Sheila. As a student, as a person who lives here in Nakuru County, where do you feel some things are working and where do you feel some things are not working? And why should the government, which is in charge currently, listen to you?
Thank you so much. As a student and a resident of Nakuru County, I'll say to the largest extent, things are not working to the extent they are supposed to work. when we are having this conversation about corruption, corruption is not abstract in Nakuru County. Corruption is in our dispensaries when it comes to medical supplies. Corruption is in the MCA office when the nephew is the one who is benefiting from bursaries. Corruption is in the incomplete roads that are being constructed in our wards. Corruption is a really big and divergent issue in Nakuru County. And the one who is the victim is the typical Nakuru resident.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right, just next to you, Laban, why should the current governor listen to what you're saying today? Why should it be a concern?
Okay, my name's Laban Msundi, aka the serial petitioner. Yeah, and okay, from my end, my approach will be a little bit different, because looking at the advent of 2010 Constitution, the main purpose to bring, there is a creation of devolution, and the purpose of devolution is to bring services to Mwananchi. That is the key thing. And when you look at the current government that we have today, it has received more than 100 billion. Each financial year is more than 20 billion. But when I look at the services, when I walk to our current public hospital, there's something that's not working correctly. When I walk in our roads, things are not working the way we expect. With more than 100 billion, if you give me, and if you have a good manager, Nakuru County could have been another Singapore. It is possible. Practically, it is possible if utilized appropriately. So, of priority in terms of not realizing the key thing, the purpose of devolution, that the key thing that we intended to have from the beginning in terms of when the makers of the Constitution did it. More so, looking at the money that the county government has received from the exchequer. We expect more than what we are receiving.
Over to you, Mwangi.
Yes, I agree with everybody here that we are not doing well as a county. And for me, I feel that Nakuru County has never, people of Nakuru County have never been left to decide on their own leaders. At the moment, I do feel that Nakuru County is a satellite of certain powerful individuals in this country, because you find that after the election, the first thing that we did was to close War Memorial Hospital, a hospital that has served this county and the neighboring counties for over 100 years. So you find the current leadership, instead of being progressive, it is retrogressive, that is, badala ya maendeleo ni maondoleo. So we are not doing well as Nakuru County, and I think we shall engage more. Thank you.
Okay, are you of a contrary opinion?
No, actually, I agree with my fellow panelists that Nakuru is not in a good state currently. Everyone has been complaining about the potholes. I'm sure on your way here you encountered some of the potholes that we keep complaining about. Right now, there's flooding in Kihoto, Naivasha. The status of our level 6 referral hospital. So there are a lot of things that are not going well in Nakuru County. And you asked, why should the government listen to us? I think public participation is legally mandated after our constitution. It's no longer an option whether our voice should be input in their planning, in their service delivery, and we are the beneficiaries of the service delivery. So it's upon us to speak, and it's upon the government to actually listen to us, because they are legally mandated by the law.
I hear you. Great inputs. Just a reminder that this particular episode of The Big Picture has been sponsored by African Censored, The Big Picture itself, and an organization based here in Nakuru, TribelessYouth, and the very reason we are having this conversation. So if we can take the conversation forward, to start off, this conversation will be the Auditor General, reports between 2016, and I mentioned in my introduction that Nakuru loses about 1.3 billion through unsupported expenditure, stalled projects, procurement irregularities. I mean, how do the county government of Nakuru continue losing money and this amount is totally unaccounted for? If I could start with you, Bwana Mwangi.
I think one of the things is that they have weakened our, whichever government that we do elect here, they deliberately weaken the public participation. And I'll give an example. During the first county government that we elected, some residents of in a certain ward in Rongai sub-county had proposed that they wanted to construct a health facility. But the leader there altered everything, and what came out from their leader was that his residents wanted a mortuary, something like that. So you find that we are in a county whereby there is no active public participation. Why it's not an organization like Center for Enhancing Democracy and Good Governance that has really been empowering citizens around this county on how to engage county government, and it especially targets the marginalized and the vulnerable in the community. The residents of Rongai were able to petition that decision by their MCA. And they told him, we bwana, unapanga kama tumekufa na sisi tunataka hospitali ya kututibu. And at the end of it, the facility was constructed. So I can say we do not have strong laws that really can, that are enhancing active public participation. Number two, during public participation, the county government officers will always come with very voluminous documents, like 200 pages with some technical languages, and then the citizens are given like 1 hour to go through them so that they can give their feedback. With that, we believe that is not, whatever the reason why they are doing that, it is, they always confuse our people here. So we need some very clear public participation laws, and whereby our citizens will always be given information, like say 2 or 3 weeks. Even in these budget meetings or proposal meetings where we do them, the citizens are not even given a feedback report. Like last year, you proposed a certain project. There is no feedback report from the progress report from the county government. So you will find that citizens on that side, leaders on that side, there is no harmony in this leader in our county.
Okay, let me jump to you. And he has mentioned about previous governors. Nakuru has had 3 governors. We have Kennedy Mbugua, who according to the Auditor General lost 81 million. Yes, 81 million. You had Lee Kenyanjui, who according to the Auditor General lost 801 million. And the current governor, that is Kihika Susan, has lost 481 million as of now. Is this more or less of a proof that corruption in Nakuru is systemic?
Yes, I think corruption in Nakuru, just like many other parts of this country and the national government as well, is very systemic. And there are also a lot of things that happen. There are a lot of gray areas that also contribute towards this corruption. Like, for example, not upholding the rule of law. Like, for example, you'll see members of county assemblies. I think there is no single MCA in Nakuru right now, if there is maybe a few, who has not enhanced their bursary kitty. And they're doing this, they're doing the right thing, but the wrong way. The process of enhancing the bursary, because the bursary will be enhanced and then it will be taken back to be bursary during the supplementary budget. When you look at the law that governs the Ward Development Fund, it clearly says that that money should be used to development. But I think we've seen a lot of MCAs giving economic empowerment kitties that they've purchased. That is not development. So I think the MCAs, in terms of how they're also delivering on their mandate, and also when you look at oversight, there's sometimes this county assembly is a complete joke and a fracas. Like there was a time, I remember there was team swimmers and I think team, I don't know team who, and they were completely divided into 2. So that weakens their oversight and it weakens them as a legislative house. So I think in terms of how things are being done, they are doing some things are being done, the right things and the wrong way. And I'm not saying that some of the youth seated in this room are actually beneficiaries of the economic empowerment. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's not being done in a way that is intentional and meaningful to impact the lives of young people of Nakuru. So I think corruption is actually systemic.
Yeah, and I just need this to go on the record. We did invite the leadership of the county assembly and also the administrative, that is the executive part, to this panel discussion, but they declined to our invitation. Such questions and such views will have been great for them to respond to. Coming to you, Bwana Laban, do you find corruption in Nakuru systemic?
Okay, I agree with you. It's something, looking at, there are several things that when you look at the county, we have raised these questions to the executive several times. And personally, I've filed petition to the county assembly. Or the same thing, I've went to court challenging several issues, more so the issue of bursaries, the way my sisters talked about. And from my end is that when you look at the issue of legal services, there's a lot of money being spent through legal services. And I think Auditor General has raised several questions in terms of legal services. These are some of the gray areas that the government of the day uses in terms of looting public funds. And I think, I don't know what can be done, but I feel each and everybody is programmed ya kwamba akiingia kwa power, the agenda is to steal, to loot. And I think that is the mentality. There's no, that objective in terms of transforming Nakuru to become a little heaven. On top of that, people are so much self-centered. Watu wanauliza ni nini nitapata mimi. It's I and I. So that spirit of service delivery is not there. Personally, I look at the control of budget report. I'm a consumer of control of budget. Unfortunately, I'm not a consumer of Auditor General report, because if I read Auditor General report, I'll become mad. Yeah. So I limit myself not to move to some other extreme, because when I look at the way people are misusing public funds, to some extent, a sober mind should become disturbed. And I agree with the way you have put it. Is something pre-planned, budget through supplementary. That's where the problem is. Unapanga kila kitu vizuri, but when it comes through supplementary, hapo ndo kuna wizi. And supplementary usually goes several. Mara mingi they usually change. Unakuta kwamba leo wamefanya after 3 months they are doing supplementary. After 3 months they are doing supplementary. So you don't know what is the purpose of supplementary. And the supplementary is not being subjected to public participation. On top of that, there's no emergency to inform the so-called supplementary budget. That is where the loose end is.
Just wacha tu nibaki na wewe. Now nimeanza kuelewa. Ulisema your nickname is Chief Petitioner?
Serial petitioner.
Serial petitioner. How many petitions umeandika, and what is the motivation behind these petitions?
Okay, I have several petitions pending before Senate. Some have been concluded. The others pending before High Court. One judge was before 3-judge bench 2. Others I'm seeking a 3-judge bench. So the motivating factor.
So how many are they, maybe roughly?
In the High Court there are 8.
8, yeah.
Yeah, and another one is pending before Court of Appeal 1. So in total there are 9. Before Senate there are around 6, yeah, pending. Yeah, before County Assembly, unfortunately the County Assembly is so slumbering, it cannot act on any, it cannot come up. The motivating factor.
But have you tried?
The motivating factor is to see, I want to see my son, my daughter, living a better life, accessing to basic services that the government should offer. And I believe that looking at the first world countries, we can make Kenya to become Singapore. There's a lot of resources. There's a lot of raw materials here in Kenya. Here in Nakuru, the only thing that requires is utilization, proper utilization of public resources. Yeah, and I'm not being funded by anybody. Yeah, Pesa yangu natoa kwa mfuko.
Yeah, that was my next question, if you're being funded, but you've answered to that. And I believe when you talk of your sons, your daughters, you are referring to someone like Sheila, right? Sheila, just coming to you, when you hear, Angela, Laban, and Mwangi raising these issues, do you get concerned? I believe you are in the bracket of the Gen Z, and you have been given names, you have been, quite a number of names have been pegged on you, rebellious, rudderless by the leadership. Do you get concerned by the issues they're raising?
Absolutely. I get concerned.
You can get your mic closer to the ear.
Okay. Absolutely, I get concerned. You see, as a typical young person, we really question policies. Yesterday, there was a TV 47, we had a discussion about the 2026 finance bill. And when you look at it, there are questions that I tried to raise when it comes to that finance bill. The question of them raising the fee of the mobile transfer. There are other things like Mitumba, they have raised a certain fee that is supposed to be paid. There's a whole lot of problem when it comes to the government. As a young person, I'll say the question of checks and balances internally when it comes to the county government is of question, because you'll see there's a speech I saw someone say, corruption is bad if I'm not involved. So these people, they get in that position and they are the ones who are looting public money. So as a typical young person, I have to question it. We have gone through the whole education system. We are informed of the challenges. We are informed of what our millennial parents are so afraid to address, and that is what is bringing us to this conversation. When I see great ladies like who am either in this conversation, I feel motivated to question policies, to say that AGPO, that the 30% that is meant for you, the women and people with disability, is not supposed to be allocated to some selfish individuals in the political system. It is meant for women, youth, and people with disability. That is what we are talking about. Actualization of what is already provided for by laws and even by statutes in this case.
Quite fierce.
I feel that I should add something. One, why corruption is systemic in our county. One, I think our county assembly is being compromised, because when MCA demands like 20 million for the wards, is the one executing those projects. That means we do not expect much. They cannot oversight the executive. Then number two, as citizens, we should also be responsible. We know Kenya's, our politics have become transactional. Last week I had visited a former MCA and he showed me 45 cards. 15 for wedding, burial, kanisa, school fees, and then he was asking me, where do you expect me to get this money? So, do we elect leaders or we sell these positions to them? I think that's a question that we should ask ourselves. So, number one, our country, and I think that's nationally, it is compromised, like the National Assembly, where we have seen our members executing projects, and now about the transactional politics. So tunawauzia watu viti ama huwa tunawachagua? Tuongeeni ukweli, tunawauzia ama tunafanya nini? Because I have gone to a meeting where, like this one, an MCA was up. I was observing party primaries. And MCA alikuwa amebeba vibuyu 6 ya uji, chai, mikate, and then he meets Mama Wanjiku, unakula chapati na chai. And then after 4 years, the lady was saying, hiyo barabara ya nyumbani ni mbaya, and he could ask, wewe, nilikuwa nafanya hesabu ya ile unga nilikuwa nanunua sijarudisha. Do we elect these people or we sell these positions to them?
It is the second time, few minutes into this conversation, you guys have mentioned the county assembly. Wacha hata niweke maswali yangu kando. How bad is it? How bad is it? When it comes to the county assembly, starting with you, Angela, how bad is it?
Bad. It's bad.
You guys agree? Hey, what is the problem?
You can look at even the impeachment of the deputy speaker. how it happened because of his political affiliation, and then all of a sudden he was no longer deputy speaker of the. So I would say the executive has its hands deep in the county assembly. I think one of the reasons could be what Morai is talking about, that is the Ward Development Fund. I think that is one of the things that could be used to put MCAs on a chokehold, because what Morai is saying is true. Ward Development Fund is actually legal. MCAs should not be implementing projects. But once they're implementing projects, that puts them in a tricky position, because you are implementing and you have interest, and then you're also supposed to oversight, and the person who's supposed to cater for your interest is the one that you're oversighting, and then it becomes a hula baloo that has no end.
Laban, does it explain why they declined our invitation to respond to these issues?
Actually, the county assembly that, in the first county assembly during the advent of devolution really performed good. The second one, ika-perform vizuri, but the current one, I don't know what's happening there, but unfortunately they cannot question anything towards the executive. The funny part is that some of these MCS call me. They usually call me. In fact, wanakuja kwangu wananililia mimi. Labda ni andika hii, labda ni andika hii. It's like yesterday, kulikuwa na special sitting whereby there's what you call money bill to pass a bill that is known as feeding program. But in a real sense, if you look at the way they have increased that money is meant for looting. But the MCAs, your area MCA, cannot question. The instruction they have been given is go and pass. Na mtu yote ambaye anapinga hiyo kitu, mniambie ni nani. That is now where the problem is. So they cannot question the executive despite their constitutional mandate. Si kwamba utakosa mshahara. But now that is the hell that we find ourselves in.
Mwekelea MCS kuongea kweli. Because they are not here to defend themselves. Mnawaekelea. Okay. Mnawaekelea. But anyway, I hear you guys. That is your opinion, and I respect that, right? And guys, earlier on, I had introduced Shiko Kihika, the Executive Director of TribelessYouth, and I hope she's here, and I hope it's the right person, because now I also want to Angela Maida. I had introduced her as Shiko Kihika. And ladies and gentlemen, we now have Shiko Kihika. A round of applause for her. She has made it. There she is. All right, now that you have come and you have joined the conversation, kitu ya kwanza nakufind ya kuchelewa.
I'm so sorry. I am as busy, or rather more than busy, than the governor of this county.
Oh.
So please allow me.
All right. But glad you're here. Umepata tukizungumza, mazungumzo imekuwa ikiendelea. You have heard what the panel they're saying about the current county assembly. You know, the county assembly is part of devolution, right? Apart from the office of the governor, the executive side of it, we have the county assembly, which deals with legislative agenda. And they're being blamed for the mess that, according to them, is being witnessed in Nakuru County. But do you feel like this particular devolution thing has become another conduit of corruption?
Oh, thank you so much, and my sincere apologies for coming in late. I had another engagement, but just speaking on where they've left, I feel that devolution at the county level has become what we call, from where I come from, uporaji mashinani. We have devolved greed so much that the MCAs we elect don't even know why they're being elected and what they're going to do. I make this reference a lot because there's an MCA who told us when they go in there, they go to buy themselves clothes and marry. All right? So we made that a norm that it's become so much that they don't know what they're doing. That's why it's so easy for you to see an MCA unclogging sewers. It's so easy for you for an MCA to tell you, you see, I was working that day, you saw me branded in a t-shirt unclogging sewers. But well, do they really know why they elected to be there? So Nakuru County, and so Nakuru City as it is, and it's unfortunate that we are a city who don't have a direction as it is. I want to first say, we gave the MCAs the first right of refusal. So for them to refuse to be here, and some of them even telling us I cannot speak about those issues. They have repercussions. So it tells you the House is controlled at the executive. And we might not even tell ourselves the truth. It's not even because of their salaries. It's because of the little chums they get from the governor every time the governor wants a motion to pass. Tokenism. This started way back when Lee was governor, and we normalized it. When Lee was governor, Susan was senator, and Susan had the half of the assembly, and Lee had the half of the assembly. And what would happen is if Lee has a motion and Susan doesn't like it, Susan will come pay the 50%, right? When there was a motion to impeach the governor, what happened? Some were taken to Mombasa, right? And the next thing, some were taken to Sarova at Woodlands. As cheap as it is, the motion died at that. So then when we see such things, and then you look at the number, and I was going through your site, WikiLeaks, and a reflection of why a person born in Nakuru, raised in Nakuru, and literally having her kids in Nakuru, I'm so frustrated that I cannot walk into a public hospital and get service, simply because there's someone who thought it's wise to build themselves a house with a landing pad. All right? I'm so depressed every time I think I cannot take my kids to an ECD in Nakuru because we don't have systems, we don't have teachers. But unfortunately, the same person can come and tell you, please forgive me because I was giving birth and taking care of my kids. That's why I've not performed. We have literally reduced corruption to, oh yes, I'm a mother, that's why I'm not doing. You know, we have reduced corruption to, no, the doctors in Nakuru could not deliver my baby, I had to go to Texas. So when you think about such things, then you see how much there's a lot of money circulating in the counties that are ending up in people's pockets instead of where it's actually supposed to be, with the people, for the people. Thank you.
All right, well, quite a lot to take in, right? But Shiko, now that you're part of the crowd and you are as busy, more even than the governor, I'll let you stay there. Is that okay? Yes. With all due respect, right?
No, I'm easy. I'm here. This is where I belong.
Yeah. You'll be there. But by the way, before I come back here, what is making you busy more than the governor, than the current governor? What are you up to?
I serve the youth of Nakuru County, and every day of my life, I dedicate my life to serving those young people. I currently was handling an issue of young people who were shot during the recent Pandamanos. We have some young kids, as young as class 6, that's a 12-year-old, who was shot and is in hospital in Naivasha County. I received some cases from Joro also. And some of these things are things that we are hoping that our abled governing team could speak on. Unfortunately, we still haven't heard anything from them. We still have so many young people who are also being held by the police. And so that's my day-to-day.
I see why you're busy. Now I understand. It's okay. You're forgiven, but you still owe Angela one. You're Stasao. That's okay.
Angela, oh, you're a big word. She knows that.
All right. And now, coming back to you. And guys, kindly interact with WikiLeaks. It is a platform that exposes corruption, and it is run by We Africa Uncensored. If you get some time, do visit it. And just to highlight something, unajua nimekuja na ladies wa facts, that is Tracy. So I just want to get my facts correct. Actually, when it comes to Nakuru County, that particular platform has highlighted 29 corruption scandals under the former governor, that is Kinodi Ambogwa, and 48 corruption scandals, that is under the former governor, again, Lee Kenyanjui, and so far under the current governor, more than 10 corruption scandals. So kindly do take an opportunity, interact with our website, that is WikiLeaks, okay? All right, perfect. Coming back to you, and I will start off with you, Bwana Mwangi. Do you agree? Is it your opinion that devolution again has become another conduit of corruption?
Yes, it is. It has become a conduit of corruption, but I think even citizens also have their role to play. One, there is a lot of apathy coming from citizens. They have, hopelessness is all over, that we cannot change everything. But I think we need to be more proactive. We should know our rights. We should always be attending these public meetings where things, like I'll give an example of, this corruption is very funny. We have a Fra stadium here which has stalled for so long. And, Afura Stadium used to, we, through Kinobia Mbogwa's government, we had free Wi-Fi. He used to call it hi-fi. And you could find like over 2,000 or 4,000 youth at Afura Stadium doing their things with the internet. But again, they were kicked out of the stadium. Wakambo watoke, they want to make it an international stadium. And I can't, linking that and that delay, there has been an emergency of criminal gangs in town. Na watu wa Nakuru kama nadanganya mtaniambia. You see, Afuraha used to, capture youth from Nakuru East. They could spend all their time there, internet, kucheza ball and everything, as compared to Nakuru West sub-county, where we have no stadium. Where do we find most gangs? Magangs mob wako East ama West? So wako West, because they do not have, na wengi wao vijana, they used to come and play football here. So you can see it has an impact. So many youth have been shot here. Wengine wameenda pale kwa Lake Nakuru to fish. And whenever they do that, we have some youth who have disappeared in that place. And we blame it all to this county government because they do not involve our youth in budgetary issues. So I think it has not worked. Good governance has not worked in terms of devolution. But also as citizens, we have to be very, very proactive.
Okay, you're talking of citizens, and we have them here today with us. Why not engage them? And I know Justine is over that other side. Justine, if we could talk to the people, let us give them we give them an opportunity to air their views. So Justine, over to you.
Thank you so much, William. I'm very stressed for the Nakuru County residents. As a Nairobi person, I would like to send my condolences to all your projects. I pray that maybe you elect Chico as your governor, maybe you could get out of this mess. But we do have some concerns. You had told me earlier you had some concerns about the projects around the county. No.
We can take a few views as we continue the discussion, then we'll do that later.
Okay, so I think I would just like to hear from the crowd if anyone has any concerns about how your county is being run. This would be nice to direct to camera, just like really right express. Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. Tell us your name, Nakuru West, Nakuru East, Mkona North na South. Where let us know your concerns.
Habari ya jioni.
Kindly, could you stand up kindly? Thank you so much. Ndio tukuone.
Habari ya jioni. Kwa majina naitwa Agnes Akomo. I'm a blogger. So, nimesikia umesema Susan alilose katika county government amelose 400 and what million?
It's for, see mimi ni Auditor General.
Yeah.
Yes, we need to be clear about that. 481 million. Auditor General and other reports from EACC, yes.
Najua Laban to an extent, na namjua venye wanafuatilia. So, mi wanafuatilia mpaka Kerochi. Namona venye huwa anaongea. Mpaka akasema Nakuru should be one of the most, yani county yenye of the, tuseme tungekuwa tunakaa in a better place than other place in Kenya. So, my question is, county government inapoteza hii pesa ni juu hizi pesa napewa in cash akenda nasa home. Yani some things zikikuwa raise hata wewe mwenyewe unajiuliza. In county government kuna hizo protocol, kuna hizo offices. Hii pesa inapotea aje? Mwanzo ni pesa yangu mimi mwenyewe hata inaniuma. As a taxpayer. Inaniuma si ni pesa yangu. Aya, ukienda medical kuna vitu zina lack kama CT scan. Hiyo pesa imepotea, ingenunua CT scan. Hatungekuwa tunakuwa referred eti wagonjwa, watu ni wagonjwa wanakuwa referred to some other places. Ndo maana the loss of life pia ni mingi pale medical. Aya, tena there was a time Kerochi ali highlight akasema the same governor alienda kubai sports kits na kabai vitu ziko fake. Can you imagine? Akabai vitu fake. Hiyo pesa hapo imekulika pesa fulani, ndio hizo zenye unasikia zimepotea ni kama anapewaga in cash. Sasa yani as a taxpayer, as a voter of Nakuru, anaitwa Muraya, nimesikia umeuliza watu waga tunawapea kura aje. I personally, mimi kukupigia kura utakuwa umenunua kura yangu. I will make sure of that kwa sababu the moment I give it to you, unajua responsibilities zako, but you have choose to ignore, now you have choose to live your own life. In fact, Susan Kika is a slay queen. Si tunamjua kama slay queen. Wacha tuharibu, hata siharibu, nasema ukweli. Madam Avieta alituambia, yeye alienda, akafanya aje, akajifungua, alikuwa bado anajifungua, sasa apewe how are we giving you time? Kwani tukikuelect, huko umejipanga venye utazaa, unazaa ati sasa.
Okay. Asante.
Sasa juu umejifungua sisi tukaage huku, tuanze maandamano. Where is Madam Avieta? Siyo nini? These people are taking us for granted bana.
Shukran. Kwa sababu ya muda tupe mwingine azungumze.
Sawa.
Lakini ningependa kusisitiza hayo ni maoni yake. Na ulipokuwa ukisema Kiroche, natumai unamaanisha Tabitha Karanja ambaye ni senator wa kaunti ya Nakuru. Sawa. Over to you, Justine. Justine, na nikumoto?
Ndio naona. We have
face your camera. There is your camera. Yeah, perfect.
Sorry guys. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak and even to be here. I love the discussion. My name is Victor Ngatia. Mimi hujita kiongozi kwa sababu mimi ni kiongozi. And the things I raise ni moto pia. And I'm happy that I have this opportunity to speak in such a forum. We are discussing Nakuru County and the performance and the underperformance. And more, from what I hear, we are discussing the underperformance of this county. I've heard the pain of the lady who just spoke before me, to a point that she brings out issues to do with medical, issues to do with hospitals in Nakuru County, to a point that the governor felt they wouldn't deliver locally. That in itself explains the level of medical attention we get here. It is not fit for anybody in an office called a governor. So that means that medical facility is only meant for people like us who do not need such specialized, medical attention. Number two, I would want to look at Nakuru County, not just as a county, but Nakuru City. From the blunders we have experienced through this governor, we have missed out in a number of funding. And that in itself explains the loss we are experiencing with this governor. And you all know that once you move from a municipality to a city, everything goes up. So if everything goes up, so we are paying for whatever services we are paying more expensively, simply because we are a city. But we are not getting the services that we expected to get. So is it wise that we say, can we do away with the city? Can we go back to municipality? If not, we need to get rid of the governor, because we cannot have both ends that we lose at. I hope you get that gist. That the people expect services over city status. But why are we not getting that? Number three, I will talk about the fact that we have a governor who cannot account for the funds that she's been given. I'm sure you all saw what the governor was up to when she was called to appear in the Senate, at the Senate. She could not understand what she was talking about. We want to understand where the money is. She doesn't know. She tells us, oh, I don't have a finance CEC. So what are we supposed to do now that we elected you and you know you need a CEC? That's why you have loss of finance or funds, but you won't employ a CEC, sorry. That's the level of management and leadership we're experiencing in Nakuru County. Today, you've enjoyed coming to Nakuru, and you've seen the potholes we're experiencing, which is now it's a darling to us. We enjoy potholes going forward, don't we? We're enjoying potholes. But she won't do anything. I mean, she feels nothing. I mean, we've talked about it. We've sent letters to her office. We have called the media to cover. And all those things are happening, and we're expecting it to sit and just say two-term. Really? Now, those are the things that we are suffering in Nakuru County, and we want the world to know. It is uncensored, is it not? So that's what we are going through. We have talked about the county assembly. I have done a petition on the sports kitty somebody mentioned around here. I did a petition to the county assembly, and I wanted to understand what is the county assembly doing now that they took the responsibility of distributing the the substandard quality of this equipment. They did nothing. I went to the meeting, and they had nothing for me. So this is the level of county assembly, the leaders that we elected, that are so compromised and not ready to do their job. They will cover instead of making sure that everybody knows what's wrong. The final point I would ask, and this goes to the country, not just the county assembly or the county government. Why is it so easy to cover than to deal with the issue? Why is it that the county government would rather cover the corruption, would rather ensure the MCAs do not expose the mess in the county government than really dealing with the mess? And you wonder, where are we really going as a country? The same thing appears nationally. We are talking of corruption like as if it's part of our constitution, while the very constitution talks against corruption, a whole chapter discussing integrity. Why is it that the leadership of this country, the leadership of this county, is comfortable ensuring that corruption is part of the constitution? I think I want to support this channel. I want to push you guys to make it louder, that it is uncensored. So, we are not going to hide corruption. If anything, I think the bottom discussion today should be corruption. Because if we deal with corruption, then we shall deal with the county assembly. If we deal with corruption, we shall deal with the governor. If we deal with corruption, we shall deal with the president of the republic.
Thank you, thank you. Quite some heavy sentiments. We can take two more and then get back to the panel discussion.
I think I had one hand here. Was it you? Okay.
Good morning, good evening, good night.
Yeah.
For me, what hurts me is that kuna hii period yenye iko between public participation.
Sorry.
Oh,
sorry for interrupting you.
I'm Campbell Gitao, mostly known as Tapeli Mteule.
Tapeli?
Yeah, I'm an activist. Shiko is amefanya kazi sana. So, that period between public participation and validation, so we are wondering, why will the citizens be told to go for public participation? Then, after a period of time, they are being told, come to validate what? Are we mad so that we are going back again to validate what we said? Or maybe we are not sure. And actually, during that time of validation is where the MCAs take advantage, because they come with their hired goons. They come and they push their agendas. For example, in Biashara Ward, we have been tumekuwa tukitenga pesa ya drainage for the past financial years. But this year, we made sure we made a lot of noise until they have started constructing it. So I'm telling also the young people, your voice counts. Mkipiga kelele sana, ng'ombe inashindwa kunywa maji. Sawa, inaogopa. So we have to, as young people, we have to be there. We are the first line of oversight before the MCAs, because tumewapea mandate ya representation, but wakifika hapo wanajirepresent their own agendas. Juu kwa sababu kama MCA wetu angekuwa na put himself in my shoes, tungekuwa kama artist, tungekuwa tumepata gigs za county government, tungekuwa tumesaidika. Lakini saizi si project peke yake zimestall, pia talent za mayuta hapa Nakuru County zimestall kwa sababu tumeachwa nyuma.
Thank you so much. We can have the
we
last.
have one more person.
Okay, thank you very much. Good night or good evening. My name is Niska Odera Karanja. I'm a woman rep aspirant Nakuru County currently, vying for 2027 elections. Yes, and today I found it important to attend this meeting because from here is where we learn where the loopholes are. And yes, I vied for that position because I found a vacancy in that office. Because the youths and the women, the persons with disabilities, their funds are in that office. And lack of civic education and knowledge that where you are supposed to get your funds is what is derailing us from getting them. So even civic education to our communities is very important. And I like what my fellow said about, are you buying your votes or you're voting for the leaders? And I decided to come out as a leader. I'm not going to campaign with aeroplanes or big cars. I'm going to campaign as Niska Odera Karanja. Let us see if we really want change, or are we going to still to vote for those who are going to give you tokens. And I really wish that Nakuru people, this time round, may you come out as clean people because we deserve this change. Let us vote because we want change.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Justin, I'll be coming back to you. We get back to the conversation with the panelists. After tupatie 30 more minutes.
Sawa.
Tutarudi.
Na count.
All right. Okay, there you have it. A section of residents in attendance of this particular episode of The Big Picture, airing their views. Hiyo ni maoni yao, I need to say that. And yes. And now, let us get back to the panel. And I'll start with you, Shiko. Because umesema wewe unazunguka takuliko governor, 1.3 billion has been lost. Where is this money going? And you have heard from the audience, you have heard from the people. Wanauliza hii pesa inakuja in cash, inapotelea wapi? Where is this money?
Well, in people's pockets, long and short of it. But, well, to start with what you said, nazunguka sana. I don't use 1.5 billion or 1.6 billion to move around. Matatu ni 500. And even if diesel is expensive or petroleum is expensive, it's not to that extent. I think we've normalized what corruption is, and we've made it so normal that when we talk about billions, we do not understand what billions mean. Yeah? And I think that's why, and I tell people, the laziness of when we write 1 billion and just write 1 BN is where we started when we started stealing from people. Because then you're minimizing this amount to be like, ni pesa kidogo kwa county government, right? And when people use choppers every day, and it's hired choppers to start with, they come and quote funny figures. When people hold baby showers, they come and quote big figures. When people come and tell you, oh, my child was having a birthday and I've invited all the governors and who and who, they again quote big figures. How are they funding these events? Because every time they host these events, then there's a protocol team from county government, right? These people are paid by your taxes. Every time your MCA tells you, I cannot speak on this issue, yet this is the chairman of the budget committee. It tells you a lot about how pocketed our people are, right? Every time we have to bribe MCA so that they don't impeach someone, this person is not getting money from their own pockets, right? So we have to look at corruption for what it is, and we have to stop normalizing it and make it our day-to-day agenda. Like the moment a mama mboga will sit down and do her math and say, kila siku nilikuwa natengeneza 300 na sasa natengeneza 150, but they break it down for her to understand why this economy is becoming so expensive. And this unfortunately starts from the house in the hills, right? So we see every time State House is demanding money from Treasury. We saw them coming back to Parliament to say, pesa yenye wamepewa ni kidogo sana, right? But they're not saying the same thing when we want to talk about hospitals, when we want to talk about schools. It is the irony of us seeing State House requesting for an increment while capitation in schools is at 96 shillings. But we've normalized that, right? Because we don't want people to access education, right? Because the reason why we saw the Gen Z protests is because we are benefactors of free primary education, right? And we are at a point where, and allow me to say this because I think Campbell touched on it but didn't go into the depth of it. Public participation is another scam that we are witnessing every day, where citizens will be told your MCA is doing a shed, a boda shed for 300, 400,000 shillings, and then we brand it funded by the governor and the MCA. Ni mabati ngapi zinatumika hapo? Less than 4, right? Right? Exactly. So every time they do that and paint that thing very green, put the county government logo and then your governor's name and your MCA's name or your MP's name, remember your money has been stolen there. Right? Simple calculation. Every time we say tumeweka potholes, na tumekuja, potholes walifanya nini? Walimwaga mchanga. Sindio? But they used money for that. Have we asked how much was used for that? There'll be a construction project happening. You will not get the big queues because I know my people from Nakuru Town East and West keep complaining. Every time they have a project and they have to go back to inquire from the ward admin has been sent elsewhere. So you will never get the facts of what is happening, right? So for me, I think we've normalized that. And unfortunately, I just want to mention this, even the creatives of Nakuru County, right now they don't have a theater or a space where they could do their art, right? We're having to use Old Townhall, right? Why is the theater closed to date? What is the county government? The theater started being closed by who? No, it was not Susan. It was Kinuthia Mbogwa, and then Lee, and then now Susan. What is the interest? Why is it that we do not? And the worst bit is that that theater is owned by trustees. It's not even a public space per se. So where is the public space that the county is saying we're setting aside money to actually build a creative space for the citizens of Nakuru County? Why haven't we heard of that? Because they do not have your interest at heart, and that's why we've normalized what they're calling uporaji mashinani.
Okay. Bwana Mwangi, let us move away from the numbers, the statistics, the figures. Could we quantify what does this over 1 billion mean for the people in here, the Wanjiko, the Modoni who are outside watching this particular broadcast? What does it mean?
You say what the amount could have done?
Yes, exactly. That is what I mean.
Yes, yes. But before I comment on what that money could have done, we should also ask ourselves. We have been attending some meetings all over the county whereby women are told, you queue this way, men queue this way, youth queue this way. I don't know, women are given 3K, sijui wanaume 3,000 mugawane mkiwa watu wawili. That has been happening all over. Ni nani hao wanapiga laini kwa hizo mamkutano? Yeah? Hata siku hizi our leaders waongei nipigeni laini nihesabie ni wangapi? Do you care? Hizo pesa zinatoka wapi? Then number 2, we have been having, our lady there is asking, hii pesa inaendaga namna gani? Ukienda kila pahali, kijana amepelekwa driving school, sijui msichana kusuka nywele, see they are all over. Ni wangapi wanaendesha, ni wapi tuliandikania, ni magari ngapi tunapeleka huko kwa driving school, ziko county government twende tukaendeshe. That is where the wash is being done. Everywhere, these salon and car driving schools are mushrooming everywhere, laundering our money. So we should blame ourselves first. Then number 2, if we could be serious, if we could be proactive, like I spent like 3 months during a practicum at PGH, that is Nakuru level 5. And I want to connect that experience that I got there with what happened at Harambee Khalsa, where children, when going to school very early in the morning, they found that their watchman had been killed in a very gory way. Kichwa iko huko, mguu iko huko. You can imagine those kids, the trauma that they got. Do you know Nakuru level 5 has only 3 counseling psychologists? Mnajua hivyo? Only 3. You are taken there, and then after the assessment, madaktari wanasema you are limp, mguu yako itakatwa. Mtu achinjagwi kama ng'ombe kwa butchery. You need someone to prepare you. How that will happen, How will you carry on your life without a limb? But we can only afford 3 psychologists in Nakuru County. We still have a government whereby Nakuru War Memorial that used to generate a lot of money, ilikuwa inatusaidia hapa. The first assignment of our governor was to make sure that it's closed. Yeah? And I should ask the audience, wenye walikuwa nabeba hizi mashini wakiteremsha huko chini ni wazee ama ni vijana? Sijui kijana napeleka wapi mashini ya nini ya. So we should be proactive, and then before we point our fingers to our leaders, we should also question ourselves. So 1 billion is a lot of money. Michuki once told us, if you count 1 billion, a shilling after every second, you'll take 32 years. So sio shilingi 10. Then another thing that is emerging in our county, the pending bills are, I think, are 1.3 billion. You supply to the county, una supply, utailipwa. Watu wengi wamejinyonga. Some people's properties have been auctioned. So I think we need to be proactive. We should be attending these messages. We should not be waiting for our friends here to interact with these Auditor General reports. We have a serial petitioner here. Our Labani is a serial, our Mutata here. Working with him, we can question these. We have civil society, very active civil societies here, and we can engage this county government. So 1 billion is a lot of money. We could have a lot of doctors there. Our roads could have been paved. Look at Harambe Kalsa there and Afuraha Secondary School whenever it rains. See watoto wetu ni inaitwa nini ya kurukaruka hivi kama chura. And there we have a construction ya governor worth multi-million shillings. But they cannot afford to pave for our future leaders, our future doctors, physicians and everything kwa hika barabara kamoja hapa. So I think we need to get angered. Tukasirike ndugu zangu. Bila kukasirika hakuna pahali tunaenda. We cannot afford to be smiling, being apathetic wakati maneno yote inafanyika. Si mnaona watu wa matatu venye walisema with due respect.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Coming to you, Sheila, and picking cue from what Bwana Murai is saying, and I was going through some of the campaign promises by the current governor, that is Susan Kihika. She did promise to dismantle, these corruption networks in Nakuru County, but appearing before the Public Accounts Committee of the Senate last year, 2025, still there's some queries, there's some corruptions being highlighted. Actually, the committee did recommend EACC to investigate the current governor. Why are these leaders not dismantling corruption networks in Nakuru County? What do you make of this?
Article 201A of the Constitution provides for there shall be openness and accountability, including public participation in financial matters. When it comes to our governor, Susan Kihika, and the whole county assembly, there's no openness and accountability. We again appreciate that Article 226, if I'm not wrong, provides for the Office of Auditing of these public funds. If we are talking about audit, the Auditor General flagging these leaders in this case, they are flagging, but there's no legislative action that is taken to court. They will come here and tell us, we have said, we have identified some problems that is happening. There's misappropriation of funds. There's no reimbursement if I have a tender with the county government, but there is no legislative action to seal those individuals that has taken place in this case. So we are having a failure of the judicial arm of the government and this Office of Auditor General in itself. Again, I was having a conversation with a colleague of mine, he's in this building, and when we look at funding of a road project, for example, a road project will require 50 million to carry it out. What these individuals basically do, they will allocate 150 million to that road project, and the contractors will not even finish the road project. So we are having a problem of an incomplete road project and 100 million Kenyan shillings that is looted in this case. We come back to the health sector. We have Kaptemboa ward, for example. There is gloves, there's medical appliances that are supposed to be in those hospitals. What these people basically do, they will have procurement records that are showing we have procured these medical gloves and these medical appliances, but ukikanyaga ground apo Kaptembo dispensary, that is not happening. So when we look at the office of the Auditor General, we appreciate what they are doing, but they are only flagging it off. Why not take legislative, judicial action to these individuals? Why not take these people to court and bring them to account to what they have done? In conclusion, allow me to say that it's a systemic problem, as we have said. Tunabadilisha nyani, lakini the forest is the same. The people are the same. And we as citizens of Nakuru County, we are the victim of the whole pathetic system. Allow me to say that.
Okay. Alaban, again, just a follow-up from what she's talking about. Look, Nancy Gadongo, the Auditor General, year in, year out releases reports. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, year in, year out releases reports. You know, as an active citizen, does it concern you that all this stops at reports and press conferences?
Okay, maybe before I respond to that, the issue of city status of Nakuru. Already, my friends talked about it. Already have a petition before County Assembly to make sure that they recall the so-called city status. Because Nakuru County, the Nakuru city as it is, it's not a city. We cannot live in such a, continue living in such a pathetic situation and call ourselves a city. If the County Assembly fails, I'll move to the Senate. If Senate fails to act, there is a court. That is the end game. But I have to exhaust all constitutional mechanisms that have been placed so that now before I approach the court. Now, coming to the issue of Auditor General, I think 1.1 billion is lost.
1.3.
To me, I may disagree with Auditor General talking about 1 point something. I think that money is more than the more money
that is actually between 2016 to 2024.
2016
to 2024.
2016.
Yes.
I think that money that has been looted is more than that. Yeah. An example, if you look at the current regime, our own source revenue, what left and what the current government is collecting, if you calculate, it turns up to be billions of shillings that is unaccountable for. So my take is here from where my sister left. I think the problem we have with Auditor General is giving out statements and there's no action taken. And I think the purpose of Auditor General is to present the entire report to the Senate. And I think the Senate, as the protector of devolution, is kind of letting the citizen of the Republic, it's not doing their mandate in terms of their oversight. Actually, we could, according to the Auditor General report, from 2012 up to now, not 2012, from 2022 up to now, I expect we should be having around more than 20 governors in court. But unfortunately, we have not seen anybody being sued for misuse of public funds. I think there should be much more legislative in terms of compelling the Senate to disclose all the reports. Wakati wanapofanya ile, when I saw our current governor, Anastama, wakati anapoulizwa kwamba hizi vitu umetumia namna gani, in fact, alistama a lot. There should be appropriate action. Si kwamba kuuliza namna hivyo na Sifuna kukimbizana na wengine, and then that is the end of the story. Someone should be appropriate action. Kama ni EACC, should take an action against the corrupt governors. Si kwamba tunaelezea 1 point something and there's no, absolutely there's no action. That's what I can agree with my sister aliposema kwamba tumenormalize, yani tumekubali corruption, tumekubali as if it's something that we need to accept as a normal thing. So the weekly from my end is Senate. Senate should take appropriate action against the corrupt governor, making sure that they protect devolution and making sure that public funds that are meant to advance services at county level is utilized appropriately.
Okay, coming to you, Angela. You know, already you did mention this, you do not have faith in the county assembly. Then what is the other remedy? I mean, what is the solution for Nakuru County in this whole issue of corruption?
One solution that can actually solve the problem. Like, for example, Laban spoke about the bus stopping at the Senate, but I think the Senate does referrals to independent bodies like EACC once the governor cannot be able to substantiate the allegations made against them. So when you talk about corruption being systemic, as you spoke about it earlier, what is the status of our independent bodies? We keep calling them toothless dogs. They are underfunded, understaffed. So we need to look at it from there. How do we solve the problem? If the institutions mandated to actually carry out the process don't have the capacity, then what next? That means that we're looking at the national budget and the county budget as well. But I think we need to strengthen public participation. That is one solution that could go a long way, that people actually understand that where is their point of connection with this money. You asked what 1.3 billion means. I think the appropriation committee says that it would take approximately 1 million to do a complete classroom. So that should tell you how many classrooms that money can construct. And classroom ato umeenda sana. Our ICDs, some of them lack sanitation facilities. You find children queuing for so long hadi inabidi walimu waongeze time ya break kwa sababu they don't have enough sanitation facilities and they have to make long queues. And you see the governor giving bursary to high schools and primary schools, and those are clearly functions of the national government. So where is in this money going to ECD and TVETs, which is her primary role? So I think when you look at corruption and look at solution, one of the solution is actually strengthened public participation, that a woman should know if we speak about 1.something billion of facility improvement fund going missing in the level 6. That means that is why the woman has to rent a house who lives in Kuresoi North 1 month to delivery, so because they know they cannot access emergency services in Nakuru County. When you're talking about children queuing in long lines for them to use the washrooms, that is where that money is going. So I think we need to make people understand the connection between corruption and service delivery. How does corruption affect you personally? I could talk about a market in London Ward under the ESP program, a collaboration between national government and county government. We saw over 47 million being invested in the ESP market, and the market has been vandalized. There is nothing to show that there was a construction there. 47 million is a lot of money. We're talking about the market being situated next to an informal settlement, where we see them on TV every time doing demonstration because people have been arrested for brewing illegal changa. We see people being arrested for selling bang. So they need to know that if that market was actually operational and functional, then that would mean that their reality actually changes, that the level of employment and cash flow in that specific area goes up. Meters, uende tu hapo kando, there's a social hall that was constructed when I was in class 2, and right now I'm 28 years old. I'm the one who's fighting for it to be operationalized. In the same informal settlement where people are drowning in drugs and substance abuse. So I think if you're able to draw the connection so that the electors could be able to properly envision and understand how this money actually affects them personally, that if you queue and take 300, you've taken your health service.
Rightly put.
Maybe.
And Angela, yes.
Just to reinforce.
I hope it's not a petition.
It's not a petition.
Okay.
Actually, it's kind of a petition, but my take is here. If looking at the performance of county assembly, we need to have some measurement in terms of their performance, for that performance to be put in public domain. Because tukikaa tu ya kwamba MMC wanakaa huko, we cannot see what they are in terms of their measurement, in terms of their performance, then tutakaa kwa giza namna hivyo. There must be a policy to inform performance in terms of how they are doing in the county assembly.
Okay. I want to jump to Shiko. I'll come back to you. Let me jump to Shiko. Shiko, you have heard from them. It begs the question, now, moving forward, we have the people of Nakuru right here. Then how do they face all this? What role should they actively participate in to make Nakuru better?
I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all. I was just sharing with someone that the talks in Nakuru is how people are saying, oh, Lee Kinyanjui was better. We're talking about numbers, and there's nothing better than what we're seeing right now. It's asked, one, understanding that corruption affects you, like Laban has said, like Angie has said. Corruption affects you at your point of need, at your homestead, right? That's the first one. Second, vote right. Let us stop voting people with emotions. Let us stop voting people because we think they are better than the other person, but we're not seriously looking and analyzing who they are and what they're doing and how much they probably have stolen or have not stolen. Let us also go back to the values. And again, we have a constitution that allows us to ground ourselves and our people and our leaders at a value base. But lastly, let us make leadership communal. Vote for people you know. If they steal from you, you will dig even their mother's grave to get your money back. Vote for people you know. If they steal from you, their kids will not go study abroad. Vote for people with shame. Yeah.
Okay. Now, to all of you, you know, the whole panel, and I know, Mariah, you have something to say. You'll add to the question I'm putting to you, starting with you. You know, we have had this conversation, 1 hour plus, but the question that still remains, in the next 5 years, despite this conversation that we have had, what should the people look forward in terms of another set of Nakuru? How should Nakuru look like if money is rightly put to use?
One, I should say that Nakuru should be led for the Nakuru people to decide. Nakuru has always been a satellite county. Decisions are made somewhere, and then you see, especially when parties are making declaration or declaring their presidential candidates, it usually happens here in Nakuru. So for the Nakuru people, we have always been left to elect parties. We do not elect our people. So it is high time we Nakuru people, we say we want people from Nakuru. Then on that issues that you are talking about concerning the county assembly again, we know very well that we have PAC and PIC committees, public account committees and public investment committees that are supposed to be, you know, oversighting these reports from the Auditor General and also from the executive. Shiko and Engineer Ngati and Angela, have you ever made an attempt of going to the county assembly asking PIC and PAC committee, what is your report? Huh? Tushaienda huko kuuliza hiyo maswali. I think if we happen to do that from this room, tuende pale tuitishe report, they will give us and they will catch those corrupt officials. And if we want a new Nakuru, as Shiko has said, let us not use emotions. Let us use our heads. And that is why we are saying we need, I think, psycho-civic education, use of common sense. Yeah? And we were shown the other day, there was a Githeri man, you remember nationally there was a Githeri man? And Githeri man was an addict, he could fall at any time, but alikuwa amejipanga, he had something, and Githeri, he was not using his brain, he was doing what other people what people were doing. In Kisumu, we had another guy who was called from the bathroom. Akuja apige kura. Do you remember that guy mmoja alikuja amefanya nini? Do you remember that guy? Not using his head, yeye anakuja kufanya venye watu wanafanya nini? Can we use common sense? Okay. If it is Ngatia coming here, I should ask, Ngatia nini umetufanyia hapa Nakuru so that I can elect you? But electing parties, electing colors, electing tribes, electing sijui what, we are not heading in. Let us use common sense watu wa Nakuru.
Yeah, quite a challenge. Wakili.
I'll say, if we are to elect someone, we have a women rep aspirant here. if they are talking about fighting corruption, we want the measures they will take. We want it to be time-bound. Like, we want these leaders to have a commitment. If you're voting in that leader, let them present what they will do for a typical mwananchi in Nakuru County. Second thing, there is the aspect of manifestos. We have been part of drafting the Nakuru Youth Manifesto. And in that manifesto, I was part of that program, and I was really heavy on creatives and sports being part of the manifesto. So if we are talking about manifestos again, we have to make it inclusive to the needs that we have as youths, as Nakuru citizens. The last thing, it's the Constitution provided for the arms of the government. We have a problem of MCAs kupewa kitu kidogo, na the executive is the governor, and them not paying keen attention to the needs of Nakuru County. And we are saying, as citizens, let us be proactive. The aspect of public participation, the aspect of keeping those MCAs on their feet, to see to it that our needs are addressed and that they are fighting corruption, not as a request, but as an obligation that we have given them as voters and as citizens.
Nakuru speaks, indeed. Laban.
Okay, from my take, I will look it from a different perspective. Number one, when I read the Constitution 2010, I see a lot of opportunities that we citizens, we can curtail corruption. The problem we have is that we have not realized the opportunities, the power, the privileges that the Constitution of Kenya has given you and me to make sure that corruption is curtailed. And several of us, in fact, I was just here talking to my lady here before we started. Kaniambia kwamba ukienda hiyo barabara sijui watakukuta. So several of us, we are driven with fear to do such a kind of things. Personally, from my life experience, I was told several things. The issue of bursary, when I filed a matter of bursary, all county ikakuwa suspended. Ukweli ni kwamba nili receive several phone calls all the way from Marsabit, Pokot, Koturkana, MCA calling me. In fact, Governor Irun Kangata called me. We discussed through phone, trying to mitigate the situation because the crisis was too high. I wish we could have utilized the opportunities that are in the Constitution. We can do a lot. We can transform this county of Nakuru to become a little heaven. If only you and me, we can realize those opportunities. The only thing that we have, we blame so much the MCS. The MCS are living in fear. The same we ourselves, we live in fear. We refuse to make the necessary steps. Kwamba tutakutwa. But there's nothing like kukutwa. Kama ni kukutwa, mimi ningekuwa nimekutwa kitambo sana.
Okay, fair enough. Angela, what say you?
Leadership becomes intentional with their service delivery. Let us stop seeing leaders bringing us substandard balls, ropes, volleyball balls to jump, to chase a basketball. I think they should understand what young people need currently in Nakuru and invest to us according to their needs, not what they presume or assume we actually need. And I think I recently learned that Nakuru is one of the 3 counties in this country that has over 1 million voters. And I realized why we are such a hot cake, that DCP has already done their tour, Alina Mwananchi has already done their tour in Nakuru, and all other political formations. It's because of the power that we have as a county. And I think it's high time that Nakuru citizens actually realize that power as a citizen. And they should understand and be entitled to better service delivery as a county and as a people. I think it's high time that we take public participation more seriously as a county. I think it's high time we strengthen citizen oversight. I saw Shiko making noise about Engineer Kemori for 2 days. Na nikaona pesa imerudi. In fact, I didn't think the man was gonna come back, but Shiko wasn't sleeping. Every WhatsApp group you enter, Shiko is talking about the money. Every Facebook post you see, Shiko is ranting about the money. And within a matter of hours, the money was compensated back to the family. That stands to show that if you make your dictator uncomfortable, they will act. So it's high time we start making these leaders uncomfortable. You cannot loot and sit and sleep comfortably. We need to make noise about it on social media. We need to blast them. We need to make them so uncomfortable that they can no longer steal from us and sit. And finally, I think we need to organize politically. It's that time. It's high time for us to start organizing politically. It's happening every other part of the country, to Sibaki Nyuma, especially young people.
Okay. Over to you.
But the mic doesn't want me to speak either. But everything has been said. But just topping on what the good brains have said is that the day we realize that we do not owe politicians anything is the day we'll start winning as a county. I know Laban, you said we're in fear the same way as the MCAs. But there's a reason why they have the responsibility to sit in that house, to make laws, to oversee, you know? So the fact that we elected them and we saw them fit to go in there, they owe us everything, including the last coin they're spending today, because that's my money. So if I pay you, then meet your end of the bargain.
Well, thank you for your opinion. And quite a number of feedback we are getting. Actually, you can be part of this conversation by using the hashtag Nakuru Speaks, and you can follow the conversation through our social media platforms. That is Africa Uncensored across all social media platforms. And just to, Justin, as you prepare yourself, I know you're waiting for me to throw the ball to you. Quickly, we have Karani David who says, we are waiting. Elizabeth Karanja saying, where is the money? Damiano says, Nakuru, a little heaven. It's actually a question. Kevin Karago says, great conversation going on. And Njoroge Frank saying, great conversation. The portals at a roundabout near Gatehouse are just terrible. Aibu kubwa sana. Thank you, Njoroge, for your feedback. We have Samuel Mbogwa says, corruption is systemic because with all the scandals linked to different leaders, no one has been prosecuted. And Abdallah Salim says, great conversation. Thank you so much. And now I want to go to Justin. Justin, I know we have been talking to the leaders. Quite a lot of figures have come out, opinions, views. But could you tell us more about WikiLeaks and just loop in the crowd and also the audience and also people who are following this conversation from home to understand what we do apart from the documentaries, investigative documentaries? What do we do with WikiLeaks and everything else?
So the keen part about Africa Uncensored's work, it's very extensive, and WikiLeaks goes in depth with different counties, different parts of the country that are affected by the depths of corruption, and not just how corruption takes away, but in what specific projects or what specific spaces in the different counties have been deeply, deeply affected by this corruption, the extent of corruption. Yeah. And it's a bit worrying to just see the name of like your home area just pop up on a corruption scandal, considering you live there and you're always thinking that the people around you are actually doing things that matter, only for you to see hundreds of millions of shillings missing or unaccounted for, or even worse, just completely disappeared. So WikiLeaks does a proper deep dives into this, and if it's unfair, you can also like push back against it and say, oh, actually, the people around this area did something. You can actually tag William. Make sure you tag William and tell him, William, you're lying. Don't do that. But if you like, it's good that if you can push back against these narratives. But if it's true, it's actually deeply, deeply concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe then that said, can we have a narrative from we can get a narrative from the audience?
Yes.
And then you and Tracy can do something about that narrative.
Absolutely. I think I'm curious. Oh, we already have a volunteer. Anajua pali pesa zimepotea. So you let us know your name and the narrative that you're concerned about.
Okay. Good evening. I'm Raymond. from a hub in Nakuru County, that is Bahati Hub. And the conversation today has taken me aback kidogo, that I had to check kama niko kadi kweli. And kama niko kadi, I need dust kidogo, because we have a task hapa mbele. And my narrative, the narrative that I want to be fact-checked, and for us to at least hiyo hasira ituingie vizuri, we have a market in Bahati that is known as Kiratina Market. It was constructed, but it lagged, pole. So to some point, I was surprised that it is changing to be a school. To add injury to the salt, or to add salt to the injury, yes, it is being named after the sitting governor. Yes, I just want that to be fact-checked. Ndio tuone kama, yes.
Thank you so much, Raymond. So I'm going to push it to Tracy to fact-check this. It might take a few minutes, but before this, can we hear from the panel also? Because I think I'm a bit concerned. How do you have all these different changes just happening? Is this true? Are you privy to this information? Would anyone know from your end if this is true, if you've seen it happen? I think it would be really good to engage Raymond, because I'm very concerned that you have a project that's also shifting. Yeah. Before Tracy gives us the actual fact check.
Okay, I think you're talking about Kiratina. Okay, hii ndio mtaa mine. Kiratina ni mtaa mine. And I recall vizuri, huko ndio mtaa base, huko ndio nimelelewa. Na ukweli ni kwamba it was a market. That market has consumed millions and millions of shillings. And the value of that money is not being realized. So that land was under Nakuru County government. Tukafanya public participation. The basic need ya hiyo area ilikuwa ni shule. So the basic need ya raia wakafanya hiyo public participation, wakataka shule. Na land ilikuwa kwa county government, for it to be transferred iende kwa CDF, it was a process. Governor akataka ya kwamba shule ikuwe named jina yake. For purpose of peace, having peace, ya kwamba iende pandile ingine, tukakubali. Jina ikaandikwa, everything was written, hiyo kitu yote. But from the legal document, inasoma Kiratina Primary School.
We're coming to you.
From the legal document, the entire name ambayo iliwekwa pale, it was just meant for transitional, because alitaka hivyo for publicity. And sometimes, I don't know, it was between the MP and the governor. Mimi ni raise hiyo kitu, but nikaambia labda ni nyamaza, simply because we need these things, we need to build this school. Let's build the school. Ikikuwa completed, it will be Kiratina Primary School.
Okay.
I'm not defending it, but those are facts.
Okay. So we're going to
before, sorry,
yeah.
Justin, before.
Mm-hmm.
Shiko, what is it?
Shiko seems concerned.
What is it?
Yeah, so, no, I'm just like, I hear what Laban is saying, and Laban is saying, let us look at the bigger picture. And here, I am sitting and asking myself, you used our taxes to brand this place for your own selfish interests. And then you're telling me, in the documents, it's Kiratina, but on the face value, it's the governor's name, which if we normalize these, then again, we're telling ourselves, let us normalize all the nonsense they're doing, branding everything their names. All right? Like, let us normalize them. Iyo penta litumia kuandika jina yake, trust me, it's your tax. Let us start there. And again, we're going to normalizing. I understand you're speaking from a point of facts. All right? I'm just saying let us not normalize. But just to add on the narrative, maybe it is high time we start looking deeply into all the markets. There's a market at Kisulisuli it's been launched how many times now by the president? 3 times? And he's coming back to launch it again. Maybe we need to start having clarity in terms of what are these markets? What were they for? And who actually said it was a need for that area to have a market? Yeah.
Justin.
We've had all your concerns. And before I get another person with a narrative also in the audience, because we do have one more person, Tracy, can you kindly fact check from your end and give us the full details?
Okay, so I can see Kiratina market here was under Kinuthia Mbugua, the first governor, right? 10,899,342 shillings was spent. Now, you ask, who said where does the money go? So in this case, the tender was awarded to Levi, a company called Levi Contractors, who have connections to the current Bahati MP. So you can see where the money is going. That's how they get the money. Yeah, and with the school, the current school, whether it's going to be Susan Kihika or Kiratina Primary, according to information from the county, it's set to be allocated 70 million, jointly funded by the county government of Nakuru and the Nakuru Town East NG CDF. Yeah, so that's a lot of money. We are not even sure whether they are going to deliver on the school and how this 70 million is going to be dispersed and used. That is still unclear. All this information can actually be found on WikiLeaks. So you can also find there were ignored guidelines because they constructed stalls in that Kiratina market, and because they used substandard material, the stalls came down. Yes. Then tender minutes and evaluation documents are fabricated. Then there's delayed detection. The scam happened in 2017. Arrests only came in 2023. 2 suspects remain at large and others released on low bond. So you guys can see. To get more information on whatever is happening with the markets, the hospitals, you guys can check out our WikiLeaks website. All these things are detailed there with sources from where we got this information, like the Auditor General, the Control of Budget, the EACC. If you have a claim that you've seen, you can also tag us, Africa Uncensored. We also have a fact-checking desk called Piga Firimbi. So when you tag Piga Firimbi, those are things, because you know there are some things you can't find in the Auditor General report. Like say Kihika says she spent 1 million to build a latrine. These are things you sometimes might find, sometimes you might not find. Sawa sawa. So these are things you can tag Africa Uncensored, Piga Firimbi, and we'll update this information on our platform, your fact-checking Piga Firimbi, and also on WikiLeaks. Sawa. So we have said we are going to be proactive citizens. So unaona when they say hii tunamaliza na miezi 5, miaka 2, if they don't, tag us. Kama unaogopa utakujiwa like serial petition over there, tag us. We'll do the work for you. Okay? Yes.
Thank you so much, Tracy. I think I am worried for all of you. I don't know where the next 8 million is going to come from. Hopefully not in this room, because you guys will be standing up for yourselves. There's one person, maybe we might not be able to fact check, but I think if you have a narrative that you're concerned about, it would be good to raise it right now. We do have one more person.
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I go by the name George Koech. I'm from Nakuru County Youth Bunge Forum. And just to reiterate what some of you have really raised is on the systems that are actually at the county. Pesa zinapotea. Na tujui zinapotea aje. So I have one material here. It's on Nakuru County Executive Audit Committee. And I want us to look at it very keenly. So there were interviews done last year on October 2025. And the chairperson the chairperson for the County Executive Audit Committee, you can imagine was interviewed for 30 minutes. 30 minutes. The rest of the members were interviewed for 30 minutes. What tells you? Hiyo inakwambia nini? These people were actually unpicked. So that is how our systems are actually being developed. Tunatengeneza mashimo huko ndani, na pesa zifanye nini? Zipotele. So this is actually an invitation of interview. It's at the county information portal. You can download it and you can check it. You can check the first member is from 8:30 to 9. That is 30 minutes. For such kind of a position, a chairperson, Nakuru County Executive Audit Committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you have any more concerns before we go back to the audience?
Because we are really running out of time. 1 hour, 41 minutes into this. Maybe we can do Q&As, 15 minutes.
For sure.
We still have Susan around, we have Laban, we have Angela, we have Sheila, we have Bonamwangi. If you have any questions or concerns in 15 minutes, we can go through them.
Aya, maneno ya yapas, itabidi you minimize yapas in the room. We have a very few limited amount of time. I think we're going to start with you, Barangatia, and then we're going to come to you over there.
I think I'm on the issue of fact finding. There's one thing I realize about the NGCDFs. If you really monitor, you realize they don't give as much information as you'd want to have. Number one, when it comes to bursary, for example, my quick analysis says out of the 150 million or 200 million, about 40% should go to bursary. But if you check very well, they will never tell you how much they are giving to bursary. But they talk of bursary, they will talk about come and collect the checks, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if we can have a simple analysis or show of what happens, for example, like in Nakuru Town West. Do we have any case like in the Weaselings that leaks would tell us that this is what happens and this is blah, 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 you know, just to follow, because I think there's a lot of money that is getting lost there. Over and above that, there's a lot of money that remains after bursary. Because 60% really, what does it do? And if you take a case scenario of Nakuru Town West, you'll be amazed we don't have more than 10 projects for the last 14 years.
Okay.
So that would actually give a very good indication of what we're seeing with CDF.
Tracy, you can jump on that quickly. You can respond to that.
Yes, for WikiLeaks, it's being updated. So unaona venye nimewambia tag us. Yes, tag us and tell us. Then we look into it and then we update. Yes.
You can have a side chat after this.
Yeah. Okay.
She'll still
you can
be around.
see Tracy behind the speaker. Who else had a hand up? Oh.
Good evening. My name is John. I'm not a politician. I'm not an activist. I'm just a citizen. And I think you guys mna forget kitu moja ya maana sana. You know, we are counting the money, but you're not counting what people are going through. Hii town sahi unaweza ibiwa mara mbili kwa siku. So your corruption will come down to what people are going through. It's not funny. It is actually happening. On December 19th, I got 2 boys kwa barabara. Wamegongana motorbike. The motorbike guy alikuwa anatorokea shimo na the matatu guy was doing the same. Alienda kagonga watoto wawili kando ya barabara. I took them to PGH. But now because here I work, na wazazi ya wako, I had to pay in cash. It can happen to any kid. But hata watu wetu hawako safe. On December 26th, a friend of mine alipata accident. Hapa tu past 58 at around 10 a.m., 10 p.m. usiku. He stayed there the whole night. In this county we have 57 ambulances. He is like 4 kilometers from PGH. So this corruption is not only about money. It is costing a lot of people. Before I came here, nimepitia Central to give them a notification of a protest on 26th, Tuesday this coming week. Because this conversation has this idea. Yes, after this, what next? Are we supposed to fly to governor wetu wa kupewa pesa ya barabara? I've never come to this town nikakosa kulipa parking ati kwenye nafanya kazi sijalipwa. So if I'm paying my dues, they should pay their dues. Kama atachukua loan ni sawa. Stadium imemaliza miaka 7 sasa. In this town there's no football completely. Guys, majamaa wanafanya nini? So, corruption is about no peke yake. People are suffering completely. They have been saying about an airport for years and years and years. You have never seen it. If you say about the stadium, they're going to say it is complete. Is it for pictures? Can you host a match right now there tomorrow? If it is ready, ingekuwa news. So there's one language these people understand. I was from Central Ata OCS and Oliza. Ata to pay break. And I was like, this is what you guys want.
Okay, John. Okay.
So we need to hit hard, not only about the money, what people are going through. People are suffering, not down here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Via social media handles, we have Wanjiro who says, how can we end fear yet? It's 1 minute. You hear someone is missing. And then the other person you have, okay, I won't mention the name. It's a funny name, sorry. That is why I'm skipping. Can someone address unemployment and security in the county? Some of the feedback we are getting via our online platform. Yeah.
We do have one more person also.
Good evening. My name is Abino Mwenga and I stay in Nakuru.
Kindly stand.
Okay, good
Thank
evening.
You,
kwa majina naitwa Abino Mwenga na Nakanaka Estate, the side of Nakuru East. Okay, other than corruption, what can we speak about in the generation of Nakuru County? Other than corruption, what else can we speak about in the generation of Nakuru County? So corruption itself is done individually, not by the government. The money itself comes from the government, but then corruption is done individually. Okay. So if corruption is done individually, from the governor downwards, leave the name governor because that's part of the government. Corruption comes downwards till to the ghetto end, whereby all the boys and the girls down there get money, but we don't know how. Sindio? So when you go back into the sense of saying we need job opportunities in the county, and the job opportunities mostly comes from the goons of the county, and the goons of the county themselves are the ones who are giving us job opportunities in the sense of saying Mjengo is the only opportunity for the boys to get money. Sindio? But why will in the government of Nakuru County itself disagree with the goons from building gorofas za watu kuishi to increase the number of people living in Nakuru, meaning no job opportunities and high crime rates?
Okay. All right, thank you so much. Guys, we are really running short of time. Can you just 30 seconds kindly behind you? Yes. 30 seconds. We wrap things up, yeah?
Jina langu ni Muna kutoka hapa Nakuru County. Na mimi ningependa kuongelea mambo ya security. Na security kwa under MP. But it seems like it's a forgotten docket for our MPs, because just yesterday, tell me why should I go to a cyber nikachukue P3 form which naambiwa nilipe 100 bob in a cyber. Tell me why a woman who has been violated and had no plan to be violated anaambiwa ende akalipie. Analipia anatoa pesa from the word go. Anatoka from a place ambayo kwamba yeye mwenyewe hata na hiyo uwezo. So I think we have a gap in terms of our MPs, in terms of ensuring that matters of security inakuwa their first priority, especially in Nakuru Town East. Then ukiachana na hiyo, tuingilie sama masuala ya EP3 form kujazwa. Tell me why we have a level 4 hospital in Nakuru Town East, ambayo kwamba it is not fully equipped. Na hata ukiangalia kulingana vile level 4 hospital inafaa kukua, apparently our sub-county hospital, which is Langalanga Hospital, ni level 4 by name, but in real action, it's not a level 4 hospital the way it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Because one, mama mwenye alienda kupatiwa P3, akikuja hospitali, hakukuwa na counselor, ambaye kwamba angemhudumia. na mata yake ilikuwa involve paka mambo ya mental, na angeenda PGH angeambiwa rudi wapi? Sub-county hospital. Okay. So I think we need two things to handle. One ni health. Two, our MPs needs to rethink and think critically about our security issues. There's a lady alikuwa anaongea, acha niongee juu niko na mic saizi. Aliongea kuhusu anasema kura yake anauza. Allow me to say anasema anauza kura yake. But tell me, kesho kutwa atakuja kulia the same way tunalia saizi. Yeah. So I think this is the right time tunaangalia kama hatutaki shiko. Kama tunataka shiko, tunataka shiko. Na tunataka shiko kwa nini? Tunapiga msasa manifesto yake. Na hii manifesto asitulete the last minute kama yenye tuliletewa na the current governor.
Okay. Thank you so much. Quite some grave issues bedeviling in Nakuru County. Justin, we have to wrap it from on that point.
According to William, amezima moto ya Nakuru citizens, but you can find him after the show.
See me anytime.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Justin. If we could take closing remarks from the panelists, 30 seconds. Guys, please, 30 seconds. Starting with you, Shiko.
Well, one is to say thank you to the residents of Nakuru County for being who you are, for speaking out. That's where we start. Second, chukua kura, piga kura, and vote wisely. Vote using your brains.
Thank you.
Mine is to remind Nakuru citizens that you're the catch. One of the only 3 counties yenye iko na over 1 million voters. So think about that, internalize that, and let's organize politically.
Mm-hmm. Okay, from my end, let me not deal with future tense in terms of 2027. Let me deal with the present continuous tense. And I agree with my friend there. This is not a loving matter. We have to utilize Article 35 of the Constitution, access to information, utilize Article 37 of the Constitution in terms of petition or protest. And I believe that the only language that the government listens, na hiyo tusidanganyane, tunaweza ongea, tunaweza fanya dialogue, hizo vitu zote. Kitu inaitwa protest, serikali wanasikia. Number 2, kitu inaitwa judiciary, serikali inasikia sana. From my experience, asanteni sana.
Thank you.
I'll say the hope is not lost. We have the capacity to fight corruption by voting in the right leaders, by public participation, and by using the present laws and legislations to help us as citizens fight corruption and fight for what is ours. Thank you.
Watu wa Nakuru, jenzio wametuonyesha lugha ambayo serikali inasikia. Uamuzi ni wako. Uamue kama utachagua maendeleo ama maondoleo. Uamue kama utachagua demokrasia ama demokrasia.
Thank you so much. And on that note, we call it a wrap on this particular inaugural episode of the Big Picture on the Road. Thank you so much to the Tribeless Youth. Thank you so much to Africa Uncensored. Thank you so much to the Big Picture, and thank you so much to Piga Firimbi for making this conversation happen. Thank you so much to Shiko. Thank you so much to Laban. Thank you so much to Sheila. Thank you so much to Angela. And thank you so much to Mwangi. And thank you so much to you, the people of Nakuru. Thank you. All right. Again, thank you so much to Tracy. Thank you so much to Justine. Thank you so much to the crew that made this possible. Thank you so much to Joy and Cynthia for making it to Nakuru from Nairobi. Thank you so much to the management of Africa Uncensored and the management of Tribeless Youth led by Shiko Kihika. But this conversation does not end here in Nakuru County. The Big Picture on the Road will be coming to the county near you or to your county and continue with this conversation, Matters Corruption. Thank you so much. Have a lovely evening. Keep it Africa Uncensored and follow us on all our social media platforms. Have a lovely evening. All right, guys. We did look into the pre-survey, right? In the QR code that you are handed. Now, kindly, with all due respect, mnaweza jaza the post-survey report. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that particular report or whatever feedback that you'll issue us. Na musiende, I think Simon, do you have something for our guest? Yes, perfect. All right, Simon has something for you. Don't go. Mkituachia hiyo sijui tutapeleka wapi. I think we have a cup of tea for you. Please join us. We share that cup of tea just to appreciate you and to say pole for the baridi and for being part of this conversation. Thank you so much once again. Asanteni sana.
Kindly, just an announcement. An announcement kidogo. I'm seeking your attention. Mimi naitwa Laban Msunti na 2027 inaomba kiti cha Senate. Naomba mtukumbuke.
Sasa Laban, unajua utanipeka kitu juu nimekupea platform. Unafaa unirushe ka kitu.
Ni kutokana na ile kazi ambayo nimefanya kuhusu mambo na protecting devolution. Naomba kwa unyenyekevu.
Haya, kuna tangazo lingine hapa. Please, on first Madaraka Day, Nakuru people, we are celebrating Koigi wa Wamwere. This is a guy who was jailed for 10 years. Miaka yake ya Gen Z, weekend zote, for 9 years, ama miaka 10 alitumia pale jela. So on 10th, namwambie governor, ile signage yenye ilikuwa imeandikwa Koigi wa Wamwere, sijui wameitoa wamepeleka wapi, irudishe kwa hiyo barabara yake. So tarehe 1 tafadhali tupataniani pale kwa Koigi Engashura, akuja atupatie story na nyinyi mjue ni nini ambavyo mnaweza fanya na nchi yetu. Sawa sawa? Sawa.
Tangazo kutoka kwangu pia. Kuna chai pale nyuma. Naomba karibuni, asanteni sana.
One new thing that I've learned today is that there is a website that you can use for fact checking called WikiLeaks. And also, if you need to whistleblow and maybe you're fearing for your security, you can use Piga Firimbi. Yes, I understood that Senate, among the people who we elect, are very key in making sure that people who are found, the leaders that are found with scandals on corruption, can be held to account. Yes, the discussion was home because most of the issues that most of the citizens were speaking on are things that we experience, from security to health. There are things that we live day to day with. So I think the discussion was very on point.
What is one new thing you learned today?
I have learned that corruption is systemic. It is embedded in the systems.
What is one new thing you learned today?
I have learned that corruption is systemic. It is embedded in the systems of governance.
Did today's discussion change how you think about corruption and accountability issues in Nakuru?
Absolutely, it changed how I think about corruption. It basically enlightened me. Like I am more informed and more educated on matters corruption, and I feel there's a role that needs to be played to fight corruption and to ensure accountability.
Did the discussion feel relevant to issues affecting people in Nakuru?
Yes, it felt relevant to the issues affecting people in Nakuru. There's a whole problem when it comes to procurement and corruption, the health facilities, there's ghost workers in Nakuru. So basically it is on a broader perspective, it is really important that we had this conversation because it enlightened us, it made us as citizens of Nakuru aware of what is happening in the current systems and the role that we can play basically on public participation and holding our leaders accountable.
What is one thing you learned today?
What I've learned today, it's that corruption, it's not always about the big money. It starts with me and you. Hizo tokenism zenye tunachukua kwa ground, tunadhani ati our voices have been are being acknowledged. It starts from there before ifike kwa hizo millions.
Did today's discussion change how you think about corruption and accountability issues in Nakuru?
Yes, to some extent, yes, because right now I know that corruption has, for corruption to end, it always has to start with me. Nikiwacha kuchukua hizo tokenism, nikikuwa accountable for the little funds that nimepewa, it always starts from there.
Did the discussion feel relevant to issues
affecting people in Nakuru?
Yes, because the discussions were anchored according to the challenges that citizens of Nakuru are facing, be it issues of community being acknowledged, be it about issues the tokenism, be it about issues infrastructure. It was a great discussion, yes.
What is one new thing you learned today?
Today I've learned that corruption is systemic. It is something that is designed for it to benefit the few and more people to suffer about. So it is basically systemic.
Did today's discussion change how you think about corruption and accountability issues in Nakuru?
I think today's discussion changed about how I think about corruption. I see it as corruption by design. It is designed to benefit a few. And when you think of corruption in a larger aspect, you think of service delivery. Because if corruption is running on in one side, then that means service delivery on the other end, it is not running. Now think of accountability. I'll trace it back to Article 1 of the Constitution. Me as an individual, me as a citizen, I'm given the power by the Constitution. And it is not only the Article number 1, there are so many other articles that give me that power to hold my leader accountable. But am I really utilizing it? That's the question I'm going with to ask myself tonight. Am I really utilizing the mandate that the Constitution has given me today?
Did the discussion feel relevant to issues affecting people in Nakuru?
Yes, the discussion felt relevant because as we are heading towards the election, these are people who are the same leaders are the same people who are going to come back to us and ask us to give them another term to serve us. But have they really delivered? That's the question. So today's discussion was very, very relevant. Thank you.
So, okay, I'm Raymond Kimutai from Nakuru
Thank
County,
you so much.
and I'm here and on behalf of Bahati Hub. Yes.
What is one new thing you learned today?
Today, I learned, I got an opportunity to get to know more about WikiLeaks, and I think that is the one thing that is an eye-opener today, and it's one thing that I will always keep checking to get new information and everything. Yes.
Did today's discussion change how you think about corruption and accountability in Nakuru?
Yes. Today, I got to understand how corruption cascades. It not only affects us as a county in general, it cascades down to even that the one person that you cannot imagine, like a child or someone. Yes.
Did the discussion feel relevant to issues affecting people in Nakuru?
The discussion was very relevant. Actually, if I am to mention something, this discussion is long overdue. It should be happening every other day. So the discussion was in line with what the people of Nakuru are facing. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us on this first edition of the Big Picture on the road in Nakuru County. The people have spoken, they have raised their issues, and this edition was brought to you greatly by WikiLeaks investigations that you can find online on Africa Uncensored. Make sure to check it out. It has been a very informative session. We have seen very many people raise their voices on different issues, and it's been an informative session. So I hope to see you on the next edition. I'd like to give a big shout out to Tribeless Youth that have been at the forefront of bringing this edition together with Africa Uncensored. And for every other stop that we're going to stop at, I hope you check out WikiLeaks. Make sure that you investigate what's happening in your backyard before we do the first stop. So This has been an awesome, awesome, awesome time, and we really hope to see you on the next one. And we'd like to thank the chief host, Mwege William, our fact checker, Tracy Bonareri, and me, Justin Wanda, who's also been with the people. I hope to see you on the next one. Good night.